All right, ladies and gentlemen, here's what we have. We have a 2007 Saturn Sky that was not wanting to fill up at the gas pump. The nozzle kept getting shut off. And so that was a problem with our Evap pump. Now, here's the crazy thing. The brilliant engineers at GM, as they were making this really fun, wonderful car, decided to give us an access port to be able to get to the top of the fuel tank via the backside. And that was really nice of them. What wasn't really awesome is that, guess where this Evap pump sits? It sits actually back behind and underneath this fiberglass housing. So what does that mean? That means that in order to do this job, you actually have to drop the rear end to get to the gas tank. So here's what we did instead. Super easy fix is that we just cut and created our own access port to the back of this. So we just took a Dremel tool and we just made some incision lines and opened the top of it right on up. So now, as if by magic, we have full access to changing our Evap pump, which is a super simple fix once we can get to this point. There's just a couple of hoses that we have to get to come off. And we also changed the Evap module, so hoping that that was originally the problem, because I could get to that underneath before I had to cut the top of that off. Now, here's the interesting thing, is that this part, as it was going bad, all of the charcoal started to get sucked back into the line that was feeding back into the top of the gas tank. So you're gonna have to pull off this line and empty it out if you're having this problem, to ensure that the line itself isn't clogged up. One of the things that we did is that when I first unplugged this line to see if the would receive gas, that it still wouldn't, because this hose was so full of charcoal that it was actually blocking up the vapors from being able to get out. Now, the last piece that you'll have to be careful of as you are taking this Evap pump out is that the hose that comes off of the top of the gas tank wraps around, and then it actually dumps back into another port right here for fuel flow. Because this fiberglass housing sits really tight up against this back here, when you're pulling this end off and this end off, there's not a lot of flex, so you're gonna have to be careful that you don't bust the Y right there, which I did, unfortunately, and we had to get it kind of welded and glued back together with the appropriate epoxies, and it's working just fine. But now that this is done, this Evap pump just lifts right out of here, and it's a super simple fix. And then we just used a couple of tabs to be able to put onto the top of the access port that we just made to be able to seal that down, and then we'll seal it up with some sealant around the end line to also help with the vapors from there. So I hope that helps. Thank you, GM, for making that really awesome for us. Fun little car, but kind of crazy. All you had to do was make an access port a little bit bigger to get to that emissions issue.